Where is the best place to stash your cash in 2024? There are so many different options at the moment, it's quite confusing actually to have a look at all of the different bank accounts and bonds and ideas of where you should put your cash. So let's have a look at the best options for you, and at the end of the video I'll give my personal recommendation on where I put my money for the best sort of safety, the best interest rate, and which just gives me the ease of access of my money, which is really important at a time like now. The UK interest rate just now is sitting at 5.25%. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean we get that exact rate when we put our money in at the bank, because the bank needs to take a little cut. We're getting an interest rate of about 4.75 to sort of 5%, or maybe a little bit lower, depending on the bank account that we choose. So if your money, if your savings are currently not sat in an account earning round about sort of 4 to 5%, then this video is perfect for you. You should definitely think about opening up one of these accounts and just getting some free money coming in every single month. So what are the things to watch out for when choosing a bank account? First of all, we're looking at something called the interest rate, which is the amount of return you get on your money. So if you have a bank account at the moment which is earning 0%, which a lot of current accounts are, you should have a think that if you have extra money left over, you can put that into an account that's earning a bit of interest, and it's essentially free money for just leaving that money in that account. When you get your interest, so a lot of bank accounts will pay interest monthly, and that's probably what you're used to up to this point. But some bank accounts will pay yearly, and maybe it's not something you want. I mean, you're still getting the same amount of return, but for me personally, I want a bank account that pays me monthly, because then I'm getting that return when I need it. So let's have a look at some of the different options. First, let's start with Tesco Bank. It's a bank account that many people will know of. Maybe you haven't even considered Tesco Bank, but I wanted to start with this one because it definitely shows something to watch out for when considering bank accounts. On the face of it, it sounds like a very, very good interest rate. We're seeing 4.75% is the headline rate. But it does say, not even in the small print, but quite obviously, after 12 months, your interest rate will revert to our standard rate. Now, that goes down to 1.25%. So that's a massive, massive drop. And really what we're looking for is we're looking for an account which is going to give you a good interest rate for a long time. It will change as inflation goes down and interest rates come down. We're going to get lower interest rates, but we want something where, the interest rate isn't going to drop by a significant portion. So that means we can always chase that higher amount. So Tesco is not one I would recommend personally. Then we've got Paragon Bank, which you might have heard of, might have not. And here, again, this is one that you need to watch out for. So lots of banks, what they will do is they will say, if you make a couple of withdrawals within the year, your interest rate will go down, because they want to keep that money so they can invest it long term. But here you can see the headline rate is 5.05%, which looks really good, right? But up to 2 withdrawals. So if you make a third withdrawal, your rate reduces to 1.5%, which again is a huge decrease. So personally, what I look for is I look for a bank account where you have the ability to withdraw and add whenever you want, and it doesn't matter. The interest rate's not going to suddenly drop if you sort of make a mistake, or you need that money, or after 12 months it's going to drop off the edge of a cliff. So again, Paragon Bank, even though it sounds like a very good rate of interest, unless you're convinced you absolutely don't need that money, then I would discount that and go for something else, even at a lower interest rate. So Chip Instant Access account is an account which I'm actually really considering putting some money into, because the interest rate is really high, 4.84%. Okay, so on every £1,000 you put in, you're getting £48 back per year, which is £4 a month. on every £1,000, which, maybe it doesn't sound like that much, but over a long period of time, it actually adds up. And maybe you've got £2,000 or £3,000 in, and then that becomes £12 a month every month of just £3,000 that you've got in your savings anyway. So it's a really, really good option to look at these accounts. And so the CHIP instant access account would be the account that I would probably recommend having a look at. You connect it to one of your existing bank accounts, and then you can use that as your saving account. So it seems like a very, very good option, one that should be researched. And I'll put a link to this in the description below, so you can instantly click through and you can have a read for yourself and see if it's one that you might be interested in. The Yorkshire Building Society gives a very good rate of 4.8%, and there are another couple as well. So there's the Marcus, which is a Goldman Sachs bank account offering 4.75%. And no fees, you can withdraw as much as you want. So Marcus and Yorkshire Building Society are, again, very, very good options. But I said that I would wait until the end of the video to give you my top tip. So the absolute best bank account that I would recommend, and the one that I use personally, is the Chase bank account, for a very specific reason. And before I tell you, I just want to say thank you to the donations above. So thank you to Greg, Gregory Scott, Susan Douglas, Ben Thomas, Rishad Uni, and Lindsay Fowler for contributing to the channel. Thank you very much. Appreciate it a lot. And let's have a little look at Chase. Chase is by far my favourite because the rate isn't as big as the other account. So we've got a 4.1% interest rate here, but the app is so easy to use. It's on your phone, very much like Monzo or Starling, where you can just move your money about instantly. So I keep a very minimal amount in my current account, and I move everything across to my savings, and I drip feed it back across. £100 at a time. I just bring that money back across from my savings into my current account when I want to use it. And that way I'm getting interest on the majority of my money. I don't have to have a large amount in my current account. Any amount of money I have in my current account with Chase also earns 1%, which is not the case for a lot of other bank accounts. A lot of other bank accounts, current accounts, will just give you zero, and whereas in Chase you're actually getting a little bit of interest in your current account as well, which is great. And the third benefit of Chase is that, well, you have the Roundup account if you want to use that. I personally don't use that, but the other benefit is the reward when you spend money. So for every amount you spend on the debit card, you get 1% cash back. So that's 1% on everything you spend. So for example, I spent some money on flights. I went to Taiwan last year and it cost £800. So I got £8 cash back off that one transaction for booking my flights, which is pretty good, right? Otherwise I just wouldn't have gotten that at all. So I'm quite happy with that, and it just gives a little bit of extra interest on top of the 4.1%, which is absolutely great. So that's my absolute top tip for bank accounts for 2024. Hope you enjoyed that. See you soon.